Morning, welcome to Live with Liz. Getting a little bit of a late start today, but hey, it's spring. And oh, actually, we had this huge storm yesterday. And I know that people in towns and cities near us have experienced what we went through just, a few hours later. And I think, we always get a little edgy when these storms come about, especially here where there's lots of flooding. But with spring, we also get excited because the weather is getting better. Everybody wants to be outdoors or not because the pollen count is too high. But we also fanatically clean. That's right. It's a thing, spring cleaning. Maybe you don't do it. Maybe you do. But we're recommending this spring that you clean your law firm data. Actually, this is an exercise that you should probably go through on a pretty regular basis. We talk about law firm data every once in a while, but organizing it, understanding where it comes from, what the resources look like, what your data sets look like, and then how you're going to use them, all of it can seem like something you just don't have a handle on. I think most of the firms that I work with don't have a handle on this. And maybe there are one or two people at the firm who might. You want to know those people and make sure that you have a good understanding of exactly what those resources are. Anyway, spring cleaning your law firm data. What are we talking about? I'm not talking about data privacy. I'm not talking about necessarily your firm's legal practices and services related to data. I'm talking about data from the firm forward perspective, from the legal marketing and business development perspective. So your firm has a lot of data, and of course you have all of these different considerations regarding it, which may influence the way you clean your data, the way it's stored, the way you organize it, even when it comes to legal marketing and business development. But it's important from a legal marketing and business development to know what you're going to do with it and how you're going to use it, all of those things. And having it clean and organized is really just an important part of making that happen, of making it possible for you to be able to take advantage of the information you already have. And, law firms have massive amounts of data. You have data from all sorts of different places. You're storing it in a million different apps and systems and, places, and in the cloud. You have maybe hard storage. A lot of firms still have paper files. Let's not talk about that. Having access to reliable, clean data is essential for law firms to make good decisions about the investments that you're going to make when it comes to legal marketing and business development. That could be which companies and clients you're targeting, how to understand that, what your revenue looks like is really important. A lot of marketing teams, and I've said this before, don't have access to the right data. And there are these things that are just limiting when you don't understand what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. I hear that said a lot. And it's true. You don't know what you don't know. Where is your data stored? What does it look like? What shape is it in? What form is it in? I can think of no better time than spring to kind of figure that out, get a handle on it, and make things better for your decision making and ultimately for your bottom line. So what am I talking about when I'm saying data cleaning? When I'm saying clean your data. A lot of the data that we have, when we access it over and over again, when different people touch it, when it's used for different things, when it's stored in different places, over time, files can become corrupt, information can become outdated. I'm sure you know that. If you have anybody doing email marketing, maybe email addresses become outdated. People move from one firm to another, from one company to another. So your contacts in particular have these issues. And information just needs to be kept in a certain way to be efficient and to be usable, to be reliable. Otherwise, really, what's the point? You're just wasting resources, time, and energy thinking about it. And essentially, maybe you're not able to use it. So really having clean data becomes incredibly important when you're thinking about what money you're going to spend, where you're going to spend it, and really the crux of all of the law firm decisions that you're going to make in legal marketing and business development. And for some firms, that can mean millions of dollars. You want to make sure that they're spent in the right place and to the maximum outcome for your firm, whether that's growth or efficiency or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve with this spend. So the first step in figuring out how to clean your data is knowing what you have and where you have it. And I've come into a lot of different firms, and when I start working with a firm, I make these requests for information. When I make these requests, most firms can't deliver the information that I'm requesting. What am I talking about? I will make a massive request for things like the last few years of your revenue, the last few years of client lists, of your travel schedules, of your marketing materials, and all of the different data related to legal marketing and business development in terms of your team structure, what services you provide. I want your cases, your work highlights, your referees. How is all of this information stored? Where can I find it? And many firms don't have immediate access to that. And it can even take months to just respond to the initial request and to say, wow, we didn't really realize all of this was necessary and where to find it. So you need to start by collecting, tracking, controlling your data, knowing where it's housed in your own law firm, what data you have, who has access to it. All of these things need to be controlled. Sometimes an IT department is involved with this and works with legal marketing and business development. Sometimes it can go up the executive chain and certain partners may be responsible for it, or you may have a committee or council responsible for it. The important thing is to have people responsible for it and to make sure that you have control of these things. So that first step, identifying what you have, where it's stored, who has access to it. Okay. CRM, accounting, comms, team, all of these things are really important when it comes to the type of data that we're going to use for legal marketing and business development. What are we going to do? We're going to create a budget for your marketing. So a law firm will say, well, how much money should we be spending? I say, well, it depends. How much money are you making? What do your revenues look like? What does your profit look like? Which practice areas are more profitable? Can you answer all of those questions and be sure that you're correct if you don't have access to all of this information? Likely not. So this is the reason for you to be investing in this exercise at least on an annual basis, maybe twice a year. And there are a lot of ways to do this. Once you have the control in place, it's not as daunting a task as it seems. But in order to save money and save time and actually grow your business, this is something that is crucial to a functioning legal marketing and business development team that's going to lead to the results that you want them to achieve, to be able to grow your client base, to be able to get more revenue, to be able to ultimately have more profit from the money that you're bringing in. All of these things are essential. Management systems, docketing, market data that's external that you get from third parties, all of it you track. You can track it in an Excel spreadsheet. Some people have graphical representation. Some firms have flow charts that explain the data sources that they have, how it's stored, what format it's in. All of these things are incredibly helpful. Sometimes it's just a database of resources available. Do you even know what resources your firm has? How many subscriptions you have to what access to intelligence you have? All of these things incredibly important. Other types of information, again, based on your team, what kind of experience everyone has, their background in education, profiles, where are those stored and are they regularly updated? RFP responses. I mean, sometimes, it depends. The larger you get, the more sophisticated your RFP response programs become. But having all of this data readily accessible and usable and reliable is incredibly helpful for the process of responding to an RFP. So say you get all of this data in place and have control of it. What then? How do you actually clean it? And really, I'm not suggesting that you do absolutely everything unless you have a lot of resources available to you. There are certainly third-party apps and tools that you can use, technology out there that can be beneficial when it comes to cleaning your data, especially if you're using a sophisticated CRM like Dynamics or Salesforce. There are a lot of tools built in to help you already do this. On the marketing side, for email and communications, there are third-party tools, even for things like HubSpot that or MailChimp that go through your contacts and make sure that you have up-to-date information when it comes to email addresses or that eliminate duplicates. That's a big part of it. But just having in a simple approach, clean Excel data, clean spreadsheet data, worksheet data, when it comes to this information is a great place to start. And if you do nothing else, you could start just with the rankings data. Keeping track of your cases and your referees in a very clean format, at least twice a year, updating it to make sure that you have reliable, accurate access to this information to be able to promptly respond to submission requests, researchers, and to be able to put your firm in the best light with a moment's notice without having to go team by team, attorney by attorney, and getting an update every single time something is due. You have all of this information in a beautiful collated spreadsheet. Make sure when you're using these spreadsheets, in terms of having clean data, you don't want obviously outdated information, but you want to go through those fields, make sure that all of your fields are consistent, that the information that you're collecting, where it's coming from, is accurate and matches with the field that it's going to. Make sure that you don't have errors or duplicates. Eliminate some of the data that's, any data that's corrupt, obviously. Get rid of the blank forms. These are easy things that you can do, and there are tools available to help you do that when it comes to Excel, so that, or spreadsheets in general, so that you understand what information you have. And I can give you some examples of what it looks like when I look at work highlights or attorney referee sheets. Say you've got 5 or 10 submissions you're doing in a year for a law firm, and you've got these referees, and you have no idea which referees have been sent to which publishers. And you're sending the same ones over and over and over again, and the same people. If you keep track of that in an efficient way, and we've got some tools available for you here at Firm Forward. If you're interested in them, we'll send them to you. We've created some tracking spreadsheets for cases and for referees to make it easy for you to understand which referees you're using when, and to have a record of it, and to make sure that you're not bombarding the same client 20 times a year who's probably being used in other people's and other firms' referee charts as well. But in some of these, it's shocking to me where I'll see, people put more than one piece of information in a cell, for example. And then what? It becomes impossible to filter. That's what I would call pretty dirty data when you have that happen a lot. When you can't determine what information is supposed to go where. This is especially true in jurisdiction. If you need help identifying which fields are for what, you probably should put explanatory information in so that when other people go to utilize this information, they don't change it. But this is the reason that over time it becomes corrupt. You have different people accessing it, whether it's a legal assistant, a paralegal, other attorneys in your firm, partners who are just in a hurry, on the fly, need to get it, and where they access your main file, they change it for their current purposes. You have no idea what they're doing and what information is being sent to someone. It goes back to that control piece of it. Figure it out and make sure that you have this understanding of who's got access to your data, how it's being used, and making sure that it's done to the best ability possible. So if you leave today's Live with Liz with no other purpose for cleaning your data or homework or whatever it is, start there. Start with your rankings and your work highlights. I see it with jurisdiction. People are so confused by this. What is jurisdiction? And, I've seen it defined in different ways. As long as you're consistent with whatever data you're storing, you'll have better outcomes for your decisions. And it's, if you have different understandings of what should go, what information should be collected in a specific field, make a decision and stick with it. Don't have that different understanding of it, because some people will say jurisdiction. It might be a court. It might be a place, right? And if you've got a state in one, and then you've got district court in another, what on earth? That's so confusing. Why? Just pick one and stick to it. And when it comes to keeping track of your information, make sure you only have one piece of information in one cell. If you take nothing else away, take that. Don't put the first and last name together in the cell. That's the easiest example I have for it, but I often see people put monetary figures and notes in the same cell. Don't. Anyway, If you have questions about the tools that are available to clean, how you should structure your data, how you should store it, how you should use it later, that's the crux of what we do. Contact us, solutions@firmforward.com. We're always open to answering one-off questions, and happy spring cleaning. Get with it. I'm really excited to go clean too. Said pretty much no one ever. See you next time on Live with Liz, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.